Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
My name is Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall, right across from me. We are the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io, your one-stop shop for all things sports betting statistics, making you a better. Sign up for that free preview right now, StatFactory.io. And it's the perfect time to do it because the marquee event in betting is happening 1 week from this Sunday. It is the Super Bowl. I don't like either of these teams. I know many of you don't either, but I'm a degenerate through and through, and I'm here for it. Now, if you listen to our program on Tuesday, you will know that Rob Kendall has very different feelings.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasted 3 hours of my life on Sunday, very valuable time. Lost $6 in the process, and
a whole $6.
Well, it's a lot of money for me.
Okay, so make that clear, because somebody that's listening thinks, well, hell, you're probably broke even. No, Rob Kendall, the cheapest man alive, the king of the $1 bet. If you lose $6, that's the equivalent to like regular people losing $200.
Right, and I thought I was going to bet on a fair game. I thought I was going to bet on a level match, and as we laid out in the last show, the last straw for me was the referee doing the Frogger imitation, running to spot the ball in the Josh Allen quarterback sneak, in which he allowed the Chiefs player. Have you ever seen that, Hammer, where a player from a team is allowed to run interference with the referee, run up into a referee's face, bark at him, and the referee proceeds to move, and that's where they spot the ball? You ever seen that?
I have not. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're wrong. I mean, a case could be made, valid points could be made that maybe some sort of fix is in. I don't know. But let me ask you this, because you're calling for a full-on boycott.
That's right.
You're not watching it. You're not betting on it.
No.
Here's where I think you need some intervention. If you think the outcome is fixed, why not bet on it then? Why not take advantage of it?
Because the problem is you can't bet the Chiefs because a lot of times they don't cover the spread. Like it's too hard. Plus, I hate both of these teams. Like,
but it's a low number though. Like the spread is almost irrelevant here. It's 1.5. You could go money line if you wanted to. Yeah, but it's not that big of a difference.
But I don't want either of these teams. So theoretically I could I will bet for the Chiefs because I want the other team to win. But I hate the Philadelphia fans. I mean, I don't hate them as much as I hate Taylor Swift, but it's pretty close. Like there's no win. There's no win here for me.
Do you hate them more than money?
But I'm not sure. But this is the point. Like I'm disheartened, and I want my $6 back, and I want my $3 back, and my time is worth at least $5 an hour. So I figure I'm owed $21 by the NFL.
So if I understand this correctly, you believe it's rigged for the Chiefs to win because of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. You firmly believe that. You've got some great evidence to back up your claim, but you're not going to capitalize on that information that you've seen with your own eyes. Bernie Sanders, your thoughts?
I think you're dumb.
I'm with Bernie. Look, I don't like these teams either. I'm worn out by the storylines, but just like that Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, we sat here on this very program, Rob, and we told everybody, this thing is totally fixed. There's no way that Jake Paul's going to ruin his future earnings with a dude who's just there for the paycheck. Bet the mortgage on Jake Paul. We told everybody that. It happened. We made money. Life was good. This is the same thing if you believe your own logic.
Now, here's the thing, though. At some point, the great thing about our country is that throughout the history of this nation, always at the right times, people have been willing to take principled stands that may dramatically influence them in a negative or impact them in a negative fashion, but they have said the cause is greater than me, and I'm willing to sacrifice my own self-interest for the betterment of society, and I think I'm that person right now.
I hear the former elected official in you right now because you're coming off a little bit like W.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
So you're not going to get fooled again. That's what you're telling me.
That's right. It's
So-
it's the waste of time. I think I put all that energy into cheering for the Bills on what I thought would be a level event. I mean, we were mocking how one-sided the calls have been for the Chiefs this year, and they did it again.
I just think if you have this feeling, if you're this passionate about it, use it to your advantage and bet money line Chiefs then. The same thing with the Paul and Tyson fight. I don't care about either one of those guys. I really don't, but I like money. Money makes me happy. Money buys me Taco Bell, and I like Taco Bell. So I just think if you know the game is rigged, then why not take advantage of it?
Here's what I told my wife when I first met her.
Oh, geez.
And I think I'm going to apply the same thing right now. I'm not giving this away for free. I've given this away for free for too long. You're going to have to really work and earn this. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. I've given it away too long for free. I'm pissed off. I want my 3 hours and $6 back.
You want your $2. You're the kid.
$6.
You're the kid from the John Cusack movie. I want my $2. That's who you are.
I could be enticed, but somebody's going to have to entice me, and that's where I've not heard anything enticing to make me watch a Philadelphia versus the Chiefs game.
This is the part that I have a problem with. When you say, I need someone to entice me.
That's right.
You claim that it's rigged. One of the teams that always benefits is in the next game. Isn't, in your words, a rigged outcome, free money, basically, enticement enough?
I'm not rooting for Taylor Swift. I'm not cheering for the Chiefs. I'm not doing it.
You're not. You're rooting for money.
Yeah.
Like if two bums were having a fight outside of our studio here on Monument Circle in Indianapolis, they're both naked, there's blood, there's feces involved. You don't have to like either one. But one of them is built like a brick house and the other one is Clay Aiken. You can't tell me that you wouldn't win money on that outcome.
I mean, I just feel like this is like we've entered some sort of World Wrestling Federation thing where like you're my tag team partner and you're trying to convince me to come back. You don't need me. You're fine.
I'm fine, but I feel bad because I know you're poor. I make so much more money than you do. I'm so much more successful
When we
than
get
you
paid? When we get paid?
It's a little salty situation behind the scenes here. But okay, let me appeal to the elected official, Rob Kendall. I see one side of Philadelphia's ownership. They donate to very radical causes. Act Blue. They love Fetterman. They vote for all those lunatics. The other side is the Kansas City Chiefs family. They donate to red causes. They're conservatives. And they got a smoking hot heir to the franchise, Gracie Hunt. None of that moves the needle for you.
After all these years together, you think telling me somebody gives to Republicans is really going to move me? You know, here's the deal. If you can arrange for Gracie Hunt to once a week come mow my lawn in a bikini, then that might entice me to watch this game and cheer for the Chiefs. Can you got that sort of juice? I mean, you're number one.
I'll ask.
Yeah.
I mean, I might get blocked, but I will certainly ask.
Is it like she got a feed or somewhere where you can message her?
Oh, I am very familiar with her Instagram work. And I don't think Gracie minds people looking at the Instagram either. Just
got
a
right?
feeling. Yeah.
Is she married? She got
I don't know if she's married, but I don't think I make enough money, and I'm also married.
Well,
so
remember when Newman one time was talking to Elaine, and he goes, I thought you had a boyfriend, burly athletic type.
right. Okay, so again, for those who don't know, Rob has won elections before. He's a big, hairy American winning machine when it comes to politics. Let me put two words in your vernacular right now.
Let's do it.
Executive order.
Yeah.
Let's say you become the commissioner of the NFL. Roger Goodell has something happen to him.
Oh.
And Rob Kendall becomes the commissioner of the NFL.
Yeah.
You now have executive orders. I don't know if this works in the NFL or not, but just play along with me.
Sure.
What executive orders would you sign to fix the NFL?
Yeah, so I thought about this. I'm not sure exactly how you'd word them, but you've got to legislate violence back into the game. I think the biggest problem with the NFL is you have legislated violence out of the game, especially as it relates to these quarterbacks, and they are clearly, Chuckles there in Kansas City is the abuser in chief. They have manipulated the legislating of violence out of the game to where it's not entertaining to watch.
Now, you're going to get a lecture from the CTE people, the concussion people, all those lobbyists.
Yeah. I don't think CTE has anything to do with faking running out of bounds and then sprinting 5 more yards down the field because they know no one could touch you. I don't think CTE has anything to do with faking sliding and then running another 3 or 4 yards because you know nobody. He laughs when he gets up with these things. He knows exactly what he's doing. And quite frankly, You see it in the backfield a lot, too, where guys make what are hard, good hits. They're not hitting anybody in the head. And you see these, oh, it was a late hit. It's freaking football. So the executive order would be to legislate violence back into the game. Not everybody is Vontaze perfect, right? There's a lot of hard hits that are good hits that people are getting flagged for. It's ridiculous.
And you're not saying cheap shots will be nothing. Still 15-yard penalty, still fine. If it's super egregious, you still get suspended. But you want to toughen it up a little bit on the nickel and dime stuff.
And Tom Brady said the same thing. I mean, and obviously he was a quarterback. He went through this. You have legislated violence out of the game of football to the point where it's not really entertaining to watch anymore. The other thing I would do, many things I would do, I bring back the kickoff. Either we have a kickoff. It's like Trump with the border. Either we have a country or we don't. We have a country, we have borders. Either we have a football game or we don't. Kickoff is part of football, or just put the ball at the 20. It's ridiculous teams get the ball at the 30. There's too much offense now. 30-yard line is too far ahead to give a team the ball in the NFL.
They changed this kickoff rule because they didn't want full-on collisions, people running down the field, and they thought it would be fun to watch people return kicks more because it's exciting to watch people return kicks. But the real reality is the majority of the kicks still go out of the back of the end zone. Nothing's really changed, so it's just kind of going through the motions.
How about you?
Man, I think my executive order for the NFL would be moving the season back, like the entire season back, maybe a couple weeks, because it sounds like eventually we're going to get to this 18-game schedule. And I don't know what that does to preseason. Maybe they take away another game, but I feel like the 18-game schedule is coming. We move everything back a week or two, so that way the Super Bowl coincides with the very next day being President's Day, and everybody has the day off.
That's good. I like that.
That's my executive order.
But it's us. Don't we have to show up to work? Or do they change that? They going to change that now? Or we have to take that day off?
We are required now to take off President's Day. We can't just work it.
I'm all for it.
Because, man, I like coming in after big events sometimes and talking to the audience about it. But now we're being told we have to take it off. So if that's the case, I'm going to get blotto on Super Bowl Sunday.
Even more than usual?
Even more than usual. I'm going to have just nacho cheese all over my face. Like, the visual that I created of the bums fighting outside, that's going to be me in my living room in front of my children.
Can we bring the draft back to Radio City Music Hall?
You don't like it on the road?
No, I like the idea. And by the way, can we bring the draft back to 2 long days? I love the idea of, hey, this Saturday and Sunday, don't talk to me. Don't notify me of anything. There's nothing. I'm going to sit my ass on this couch at 9 a.m., and you won't see I'm going to have an imprint on this couch by the time Sunday evening rolls around. And I love the fact that in Radio City Music Hall, you could always count on the Jets to boo.
Correct.
Jets to boo no matter who the pick was. Usually the Eagles were going to boo, no matter who the pick was.
Cowboys.
And Al Davis was going to do something ridiculously stupid, and he was going to get booed. It's all gone now. It doesn't exist anymore.
So you'll have to have a conversation with the networks because they're making a crap ton of money on squeezing every last day out of the NFL draft. But I'm not above that idea, though. I liked it.
One other thing, one of my favorite long draft day memories was the second round one year. Al Davis took some obscure cornerback. And it was such a bad pick that they went to Mel Kiper, and he's like, I don't know. I don't even have this guy in my book. It was great. It was a great childhood memory.
All right, let's take a break and actually talk a little gambling coming up here in just a second. Our professional handicapper, Kenny Britt of KB Sports, is here. I want to get his first reaction to the NFL line. Kansas City, 1.5-point favorite against Philadelphia. The total, 49.5, kind of fluctuating back and forth between those two numbers. We'll get his perspective, the first look at making bets when we come back. We are the Degenerates Next Door. All right, Rob claims he's not going to watch or bet on the Super Bowl. I say he's full of crap. I will gamble on a coin toss. I will gamble on 2 bums having a fight outside on Monument Circle if given the opportunity. Let's see what our professional thinks. Kenny Britt, pro handicapper from KB Sports. Kenny, do you buy for 1 minute that the representative of Brownsburg, Indiana, is going to go full Christmas with the Cranks and boycott the Super Bowl?
Absolutely not. I think by next week he'll have calmed down, come to his senses, and realize it's our last football game for 8 months.
So you and I were having a little back and forth on a text thread about the game itself. And we'll get to the point spread. We'll get to the total, your first look at actually betting on this game. But the time of the game. You're somebody that feels like they should move this up to a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I hate the 2 weeks in between. I don't understand it. They say it's for injuries, coaches, for international media to get over here, which I don't buy any of that. These games are planned 4 years in advance, locations. I don't get it, but yes, if not moving it up, and only having a 1 week gap, then have it on Saturday night so nobody misses work on Monday or comes in late. It's a party atmosphere on a Saturday night. It just makes too much sense for the NFL not to do that, and I don't understand why. I'm not as good of a ranter as Rob is, but I don't get it.
So would you rather, okay, let's do a little would you rather. Would you rather have the Super Bowl on a Saturday so you've got Sunday to recover, or if you want to continue the tradition of Super Bowl Sunday, having something to look forward to, moving the entire NFL season back 1 week so it coincides with having, President's Day off, 1 or 2 weeks, moving the NFL schedule back so you have that automatic day off on a Monday.
Exactly. Yeah, we were texting about that, and that is a great idea. Also, the NFL is wanting to go to an 18-game season, so if that happens, case solved, problem solved.
Right.
You'll have to move it back and have the NFL or the Super Bowl on that Sunday before President's Day. So let's hope we can get an 18th game and get rid of preseason like the NFL's wanting to do. Everything gets moved back another week, and we got one more week of football, which that's all what we all want.
That's all we want. That's all we're asking for.
Even Rob wants one more week of football. Don't let him fool you. Jason, I pictured a toddler sitting at the kitchen table not wanting to eat his peas when I listened to
He's just looking at me, the veins sticking out of his neck right now. All right. Next week, we're really going to dive into a number of ways to bet this game. But like you said, we got a little 2 week window here. So as of right now, at the time of this show on a Thursday, just afternoon, it looks like the Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite over Philly. The over-under hovering anywhere from 49 to 49.5. Again, we'll get official plays next week, but right now, anything stick out to you?
I just want Saquon Barkley to get a ring. I don't care about anybody else. Really, he's such a good dude. He had to be in the Giants organization for 5 years. I want him to win.
But that means Sirianni has to get a ring too. Like, this is the hell that I'm in, Kenny, because I don't want Sirianni to get a ring. At the same time, I'm a little bit over the whole Kelsey Swift kind of thing. I'm over it. I feel like Kelsey overshadows Mahomes sometimes, and that should not be the case. Mahomes is the straw that stirs that drink. So I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't, but I just can't root for Nick Sirianni.
I agree with you. And, to the point that you was just talking about, let's give Andy Reid even more credit than he already gets, because there's kind of a soap opera going on in Kansas City with, like you said, Kelsey, Taylor Swift, and then Mahomes' wife doesn't like being overshadowed by Taylor Swift. And then you got Hunt's daughter or granddaughter, whatever, out there doing shit all the time. It's a soap opera in Kansas City, and they're 17-1 this year, or 18-1, or whatever. I mean, how great of a coach is Andy Reid?
Right. And the thing is, this is how much of a soap opera it's been. All three of those women's names that you just mentioned, they're all hot. They're all smoke shows, and most of the people are tired of it. Like, we've reached a point where we're tired of hot blonde ass.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. When we're tired of hot blonde chicks, that's bad.
Yes.
Stop.
Okay, so gun to your head right now. And again, not an official play. Official plays will be next week. Where are you leaning?
Philly and the over.
Philly and the over. All right. So we're going to come back next week. I want you to have a play on the total, a play on the spread, and give me one prop bet. That's your challenge for next week.
Absolutely. All right. We can do that.
All right. That's Kenny Britt of KB Sports. Where can people find you?
Facebook, KB Sports on Facebook, baseball, basketball, football, horse racing. I have given out 2 free plays on a Saturday, and both Saturdays they've cashed. Last week was 5-1. I know several dozen people hit that horse. 5-1. We got Kentucky Derby prep races every Saturday up until the Kentucky Derby. So lots of great horse racing going on. I've got cards available for sale on my Facebook page, KB Sports.
Kenny Britt, KB Sports. We'll talk next week, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. So, Rob, remember when O.J. Simpson came out with that book and he tried to get the subsequent TV special to come out?
Yep.
If I Did It.
You ever seen the outtakes on that? Because YouTube's got them up.
The outtakes of If I Did It?
Yeah, the TV show the interview that he did. Yeah, it's a compelling television.
So, again, O.J., most people feel like he was guilty, except for that jury. So he comes out with this book. If I Did It, here's how I would have killed Ron and Nicole. You are making it clear you're not betting on the Super Bowl. But if you were,
yeah, right.
If you were going full OJ,
right.
If you did it, where would you go?
I feel like, our friends Ryan Hedrick and Matt Bear have a podcast called Supporting Sobriety. And I feel like this is you going to them going, you guys aren't drinking, but if you were, you're trying to entice me. I'm taking a principled stand, and you're trying to entice me into...
I feel like I'd be a bad host if I didn't offer them at least a beer. And I feel like as the co-host of, I don't know, a sports betting show, I don't think it's asking too damn much to see what your play would have been.
What's the line?
1.5.
Jeez. Down
from 2. Kansas City is a favorite, and the total, it's been around 49 to 49.5.
Well, you gotta have to go with the Chiefs, right? Because they can't let the ending not be that Kelsey proposes to Taylor Swift in the middle of the field.
Kelsey retires, proposes to Taylor. They ride off in the sunset. Isn't it a little problematic, though, that Kelsey gets all this attention? And he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer one day. He's damn good. He's in the conversation for the top 5 tight ends of all time, probably. But does it take away from the fact that Patrick Mahomes is the dude? Patrick Mahomes carries this team. He is the guy. Like, I feel like for whatever reason, we know the reason, but Kelsey overshadows Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but remember in Tommy Boy, or is it Black Sheep, where they're playing checkers, and Farley's getting mad because David Spade never moves his back row, and then Spade just lets him win and is like, move it over here. Oh, that wasn't safe at all. I feel like that's Patrick Mahomes. Like, the league has rigged it so that he gets every call. He manipulates the slide rules, the out of bounds rules.
But you got to be damn good to get to that point, right? Like, I promise you, if Anthony Richardson tries to pull that crap, he's not getting the calls. You've got to have, some collateral to back it up.
It's fine. Yeah. Obviously Mahomes is going to go down as one of the great. He already is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But, like, how big of a part of it is, though, the tight end? Think about Brady had Gronkowski, and when he didn't have Gronkowski, or Hernandez had a little run-in with the law, and that didn't work out very well.
Little run-in with the law.
We don't want to, make anybody feel bad about anything. But, it clearly...
OJ and Hernandez have gotten mentions in this show so far.
Well, that's why we're number one. But clearly, right? Obviously, one of the keys to... in the modern NFL, and it's been throughout much of the NFL, though, is to have a great tight end that you can use as a release valve and can make plays for you after the catch.
Boy, somewhere Chris Ballard's head just spun completely around like Beetlejuice. Great tight end. You mean I can't just draft a basketball player and cross my fingers and hope he learns to catch and block? What the hell kind of sorcery are you talking about?
You'd have to go with the Chiefs, right? That they would, with the 1.5. They want the fairy tale ending, and they want Mahomes to be the guy, and I'm not sure how Kansas City stops that Philadelphia run, though.
All right, so you're not betting really on the Super Bowl. What about college basketball? Is it asking too much for you to give us some action on college basketball? When we come back, I'm going to ask Rob Kendall, as we are getting closer and closer to Selection Sunday, where's the value on a future bet on the national champion in college basketball? You could give me national champion, or you could give me Final Four. Give me value. I'm not talking about the front runners. I'm talking about somebody where you could bet a little, make a lot. We're looking for value, and that's coming up right after this. We are the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io. Back on the Degenerates Next Door. Again, check out that free trial period, that free preview of statfactory.io. If you've ever heard one of these handicappers go, the model says this, the computer model shows that. This is basically you creating your own model. And the big AI feature, it's coming. You're going to love it. So get in now, check out the free preview, compare, contrast all the statistics, home, away, you name it. Become a better with statfactory.io. Rob Kendall, I've got a very important question for you.
Yes.
Are you ready to get nuts?
All right. Want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Lights out. Now you want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's talk some futures in college basketball.
Well, I'm staring right now at a post made by Antonio Brown on Twitter, which, by the way, one of the great follows on Twitter is Antonio
You've
Brown.
interacted with AB. He's responded to you.
Yeah, we're friends. And he retweeted this is a legitimate post story by the New York Post, and the title is Big Boobs Are Over.
AB says that?
No, the New York Post says this.
Oh, the New York Post says that.
He said fake news. But
Okay.
I'm seeing
Because
this
I know damn well AB is a man that enjoys some double Ds.
So big boobs are over. You know what is also over? The drought from Tom Izzo winning a national championship.
Oh, we are going to get nuts.
See that?
Look at Rob. All right, talk to me about Sparty.
Sparty's won 13 games in a row. Now, you know as well as I do, the key is to peak at the right time. You can either be super good all year or peak at the right time. So maybe they're peaking a little early. But right now, you can get Sparty 13 wins in a row. Haven't lost since November, 30-1.
That's pretty good. 30-1, and that's to win the national championship?
That's right. That's right. And I mean, like you compare it to UConn, who's been kind of a dumpster fire this year. They're only 40-1. Sparty's won 13 in a row. How could you go wrong with that?
All right. Want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Lights out. Now you want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
All right, let's keep this rolling here because I'm looking at some other odds here. How about to just make the Final Four, okay? I'm going to throw some teams and numbers at you.
Ooh.
Tell me if this moves the needle for you or not. Just to make the Final Four, Kansas plus 500. They were one of the preseason favorites. They've fallen down a little bit. Do you feel like you're getting value 5-1 with the Jayhawks?
I feel like I'm getting as much value as I would be if I bet against the Chiefs with those refs. Have you watched Kansas play? That Dickinson guy is the most overrated dude in the world. I've been hearing since Michigan how great the Dickinson guy was. What's he won? What's the Dickinson guy won?
Hunter Dickinson was the man that wanted more cowbell in the infamous Saturday Night Live sketch, I believe. All right, you mentioned it earlier, UConn. They're down a little bit, but half coach will travel. All you need is a 4-game win streak to get to the Final Four. UConn, the Fighting Hurleys, 7-1.
Actually, that's not bad, right? I mean, you know he'll have them ready to go. And certain teams just turn. Remember in 81 when IU won the national championship? They weren't a great team in the regular season. They turned it on at the right time. Team like that, good experience, good coach. Maybe they get in there at a 5 or a 6 seed, depending on how they close out the year. Maybe even a 4. Certainly, that's not a bad value.
Okay, 8-1. Marquette at 8-1. Just need a 4-game little heater, and that lands in the Final Four.
I'm a big Marquette fan. I know not as many people are sold on Marquette. I just, and maybe it's because of the pageantry of Marquette basketball and what they've had. I really like Marquette, and obviously it's going to depend on how these brackets shape up, et cetera. But that's why, you got to strike while the iron's hot, right? Marquette's a pretty good value at 8-1.
And last one, Purdue, last year's national runner-up. They lost Player of the Year Zach Edey. They've been up, they've been down. They just beat the piss out of Michigan on national television. We're expecting them to do the same to Indiana.
Fade IU.
Tomorrow, 10-1 for Purdue to make the Final Four.
I believe Jim Morrison wrote the song. It's called Come On Baby, Light My Money on Fire. I mean, come on. You see that Ohio State game? You think that team's running to the Final Four? You see that Ohio State game? They were up 16. They were up 16 against Ohio State and blew it at home.
And that Ohio State team beat the brakes off of Iowa, which I've officially retired betting on Iowa.
It's not good.
But what I've not stopped betting on are games that nobody gives a damn about. We call it the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
Anybody, with the exception of Rob, can bet on the Super Bowl. Anybody can bet on Duke and Carolina this weekend or IU and Purdue. But if you want action tonight, 6:30 tip-off. A game so bad they don't even want it to start at 7. Wright State at Youngstown State. Youngstown State is a 2-point home favorite. The over-under is 147.5. Let's look at that total here, Rob. Each of the last 8 games between Wright State and Youngstown State have produced a total of over 148 points.
No.
Wright State has conceded 75 points or more in 7 of their last 8 road games against conference opponents. We'll all be damned. This is a road game against a conference opponent. When you put all of this up and you put it into a bowl and you stir it around, maybe you add a little beer like some people do with chili, take a big whiff. This smells like an over. We are going to ride the lightning. We're going over 147.5.
All right.
Wright State at Youngstown State, 6:30 p.m. tip-off tonight. All right, we will be back on Tuesday, and we're going to start diving into some of these prop bets, or at least I will. We will start diving into whether or not we're going to bet on the coin toss. Spoiler, I am. And we're going to
Bet
have...
on the coin toss?
Have you met me? Do you know who the hell I am? Yes, I'm going to bet on the coin toss.
Well, let's have a conversation about this on Tuesday. I want to do a deep dive on the psyche of a man who bets on the coin toss.
You think the kind of guy that's going to put money on the over on Wright State and Youngstown State is too good for a 50-50 shot?
No, I know. I want to do a deep dive on the psyche of betting on the coin toss.
All
It's
right.
fascinating.
We will do that on Tuesday. Until then, may the odds be ever in your favor. We are the Degenerates Next Door.